welcome to another episode of Diary of a Wannabe Comedian with me, Belle, a wannabe comedian. Now, who shall I tell you about first? I can tell you about Christopher Ecclestone, or I can tell you about Ricky Gervais. And I was, 6 foot away from Christopher Ecclestone for about 3/4 of an hour, something like that, a very long time. And not that much further away from Ricky. I've had an amazing week. So Ricky on Tuesday, I had the best seats. I walked in and I was row C and I was slap bang in the middle of that row and I could see everything. It was brilliant. He was on good form and he had 3 supporting acts. He had Matt Bragg, Sean McLaughlin and Josh Pugh. That's it, Josh Pugh, who I've seen before, saw him at Angel, and I've seen him support. In fact, I've seen all 3 of those guys supporting Ricky before. It was interesting because Sean McLaughlin was actually the warm-up act for Ricky's proper show that I saw at the Palladium. So that was, a couple of years ago? And I paid an absolute fortune for that ticket, but that's another matter. But he was really good then, very funny and most enjoyable. But this time he came out, and if you don't like crude sayings, then switch off now. But he came out swinging this big dick energy that Ricky does, and it just didn't suit him. And I don't think it really worked. And he recognised that because he did make reference to it. But it shows how supportive Ricky is actually, because he then said something, I can't remember, something about Bitcoin. And you could just hear Ricky laughing his head off at the back of behind the stage in the wings. So he's very supportive because I think he recognised that Sean was having a tough time out there. We were laughing, we were polite, but it's just, don't be coming out here trying to do a Ricky, because you can't. There is only one Ricky. So my Monday was going to an equity meeting, and they had Christopher Ecclestone came and talked and shared his experience and took questions. Basically, it was an hour of him, or 3/4 an hour of him taking questions. And he's a very principled person. That's what I will say. Very principled indeed. Probably at his cost by the sounds of some of the things he said. He talked about being working class and having a chip on his shoulder, but he considered that other people that he worked with had pokers up their arse. So it was very funny. He was very amusing to listen to. I'm very honest as well, because he spoke about he had a mental breakdown, and he also spoke about the fact that he's had anorexia, and that was quite tough by the sounds of it. But he did give me some insight into what goes on in the industry, because somebody asked him about something he was in with Jodie Foster. I can't remember the name of the film off the top of my head, but he talked about the fact that one of the first scenes was, intimate, and how they have an intimacy coach. And I just thought, what did they talk about? But it sounded, he said they were a really good thing to have in the industry because they didn't used to have them. And they will obviously protect you. And he said it had never actually occurred to him that anybody would want to, cop a quick look. But the intimacy coach is there to make sure none of that sort of thing happens. And also they discuss the way somebody might actually approach the scene based on who the character is. He said it far more funny when he was talking about it. But there you go. You live and learn. Intimacy coach. That's a job I didn't know existed. And I wonder what you do to train for it. Much love and gratitude.